Welcome to the second update video for Scott's Winchester and Western Railroad. It's the first week of September and I thought I'd give a short update of some of the recent work I've done to the layout. Rather than just showing an intro slide while I talk before the update videos, I figured it would be more interesting to show some pictures of the locomotives that are used by the actual W&W prototype in my area. I've been spending a lot of time since the last update working on my scratch-built locomotive shop, so I haven't done a lot on the layout itself. I decided before I got too much further, and before I started to actually install scenery or structures on the layout, I should install the material to support a future backdrop for the layout itself. Because I may want to install a photo backdrop in the future, I wanted to figure out a way that I could attach the hardboard so that there would not be any screws that I had to spackle and sand or would make divots in the photo backdrop, and so I could easily remove it in the future to either paint it or to attach the photo backdrop. I decided I would attach 1x4 boards to the top and bottom of sections of hardboard with construction adhesive, with about an inch of wood showing beyond the hardboard. I could then attach these sections to the studs along the walls, with screws going only through the 1x4, leaving the hardboard surface untouched. I figured this was a great idea, until I realized that in many places the back of the layout was within 1/2 inch of the studs. I would need at least an inch of room for the backdrop sections. So at first I thought, no problem, I'll just get out my circular saw and cut off an extra 1/2 inch or so. Of course that wouldn't work, since the distance from the edge of the saw base to the blade is almost 2 inches. The same goes for my jigsaw, so I couldn't use that either. Then it hit me. The beauty of the way my benchwork was constructed was the answer to my problem. Since the sub-road bed is attached to the risers with pocket screws from under the layout, I could just take out all the screws and shift the layout forward by the amount of space I need. So first I got some plywood strips and attached all the sections of the layout temporarily together as one unit. This way I wouldn't have to worry about any of the track that I had laid shifting while I moved the sub-road bed. Once this was done, I removed all the screws from the risers. In a couple of cases, due to the location of my tortoises, I actually unscrewed the riser from the joist so the riser itself would move forward and not interfere with the tortoise. It was then surprisingly easy to grab the sub-road bed and slide the entire layout forward by about an inch. Then I just reinstalled the pocket screws into the risers, removed the temporary plywood strips, and the layout was back to normal. As you can see, I now had the space I needed to be able to install the backdrop the way I had wanted. I didn't have to cut any of the sub-road bed, and it only took me about an hour to accomplish all of this. Over the next couple of days, I built up sections of the backdrop structure and installed each of them in place on the layout. With this work done, the long section of the layout, which is along the outside wall of the basement, and the future section of the layout along the wall to my workroom are ready for whatever backdrop I decide to add in the future. I also took a little time at the end of the installation process to paint a bunch of the sub-road bed in preparation for doing scenery in the future. That's it for this update. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave a comment, and I hope to see you with the next one.